If the 49ers wanted to do what was best for Trey, they'd let him go. But if they wanted to do what's best for them, that might be a different story. So let's start there. Is keeping Trey Lance the smart move or the gutless move? What do you think?
I think it's smart until Brock Purdy's healthy.
Mm.
But if you really believe that Sam Darnold's a good backup quarterback in this league, and you think that Purdy is your starting
Is that
guy
dude?
and your franchise guy, he's that
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
then it's completely gutless. And not because Trey deserves better, but because if you can turn Trey into any asset that can actually help your team and maybe play some starter reps, whether that's a pass rusher or what have you, then you have to look into that. I think keeping both, if that opportunity is on the table, and I'm not saying it is, it may or it may not be at some point, but if it is on the table, then you're hedging your bets, and I think that's a gutless move. So a little bit of both right now.
Yeah. I guess the way I feel is that it sucks for Trey. And if
Mhm.
I were Trey, I would want out. Especially if they go with Brock and I can't do anything about it. But NFL is so not fair. And from the 49ers perspective, they have to do what's best for them. And if they could trade him for a player that they would think that would really make them better, consider it for sure. But they also have to have some self-awareness and know that their offensive line is hardly a strength. And, protecting quarterbacks is like way down the list of things Kyle Shanahan cares about or thinks about. So if that's who you are and you're the team that went through 4 quarterbacks last year, like you really might need numbers. You really might need numbers. And that's not fair to Trey. It's not fair to Brock. It's not fair to Sam. It's really not fair to any of them. But that's who you are, man. And like you've given Trey a lot of money. I think he just bought a Maybach. Like you haven't screwed him over 100%. And all you're saying is, look, Trey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Stick with us. I think you're going to get another shot. Is it week 1? No. Is it going to be because Brock Purdy gets hurt? I mean, we can't say that out loud, but kind of, probably. So
Yeah.
bear with us, man. You got 2 more years under contract. We change our minds every 3 months or less than every 3 weeks. Like, just bear with us. I know it sucks, though. I think that's what they're probably going to do to the kid. I'm going to stop calling him a kid. The young man.
Yeah, I say kid too. It's just an old guy
I
thing
know.
to say.
I call people who are like 32 kid.
Yeah, it's not to be disrespectful. It's just I look at you as a kid. It doesn't mean that you're not a man.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the way I see it in specifically, Daniil Hunter's out there. We know that Trey's from that area. Minnesota, I think, would love to have him. We're going to talk about Kirk Cousins in a minute. It sounds like he's out of Minnesota at the end of this year. They're really going through a stage of rebuild right now, or retool, I should say. They need to find their quarterback of the future. They're likely not going to be in the number 1 pick hunt next year, but Trey kind of fits what they need. So is it realistic to think that Trey for Daniil Hunter or Trey plus a little something for Daniil Hunter could happen? I think it is. And if you can go make a move like that happen and Trey's not your starter, I think it's gutless.
Can I ask a question?
How?
Why is Daniil Hunter available?
Their whole
What?
team is having a fire sale.
Why?
He wants out.
Why?
He's wanted out for 2 years.
Hey, well, that dude is so good.
I know.
If you could trade Trey Lance for Daniil Hunter, I might be into it just because I have zero confidence in the Niners to do right by Trey in any way. Even if they wanted to, I don't even think they have the capacity. So, let him go, ride with Brock and, the next Brock or the Brock 3.0, whatever. Get Daniil. Dude, if you got Daniil Hunter is really good. He's better than D Ford, Drake Jackson, all of it. Like,
Yeah.
he'd be the best
He's
bookend
really
you've
good.
ever put next to. Wow.
Yeah. By a wide margin.
Woo! I don't even root for the team, and I'm excited.
Daniil Hunter would be a great get. And
He's really good.
Like, I want to be clear. Obviously, people know that, like, I'm the Trey guy, whatever. I would keep Trey. I would start Trey week 1.
Trey.
That's me. But the 49ers don't seem into it, and that's totally fine. But then don't do the same things that you did to Trey, where you were kind of like dipping your toe in the water, not really sure. No, give a full cannonball. Yell cannonball, jump in the deep end, and go all the way with Brock Purdy. Don't play this halfway in, halfway out bull crap with him too.
Because, like, don't you have the same logic at running back? Like, you had a running back named Trey. You did.
Yeah.
You traded up for him.
Yep.
You decided he wasn't quite free. I mean, Trey Sermon wasn't terrible for the Niners. He averaged 4.1 yards per carry. Like, Ty Davis Price was worse than that. But they decided, for whatever reason, it's not going to work for Trey, even though we traded up for him and invested some serious capital in him.
Yeah.
You're gone. We're waiving you. It seems like they've made sort of the same determination with the next Trey Lance. You're not for us. But at the same time, they're kind of being gutless and like, okay, but we're not willing to do what we did with Trey Sermon because you're a quarterback and we took you higher in the draft. But what's different? I mean, you made your mind up, right? Your mind is made up. So what are you going to do? Just wait? If you want to dump him, dump him. What are you doing? If you call him up, tell him it's not him, it's you, or whatever.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah. I mean, if anything,
tell him his breath stinks. It's halitosis.
At this very moment, quarterback trade values couldn't be any lower. I get that.
Yeah.
But before the trade deadline happens, quarterbacks are going to go down in the league. Teams are going to figure out where they're at, where their future is. Minnesota makes sense right now, but there may be other teams that start to make sense as things unfold before the trade deadline. I'm just saying they have to do if they couldn't play Trey because they're on this Super Bowl quest and they feel like the window's wide open, well then, if you can't play him, but you can trade him for a guy that can play for you and possibly help put you over the top, I think you have to try to make that move. I don't see what the point of keeping him is if there are other trades available for a guy like Danielle Hunter. And if that's possible, you have to go after it.